Okay, let me give a warm welcome to all my Weaving Wyrd siblings. For those of you who aren't in the know, my name is Sig. I'm a retired tattoo artist turned active fiber artist and crocheter. And here on my channel, you and I get to create a little magic with every knot. So don't forget to hit the subscribe and like buttons. This doesn't cost you anything, but it does help me provide you with regular tutorials featuring original designs, classic patterns, and lacy motifs. I'm always interested in your feedback, so feel free to leave your comments and questions below. Okay, now let's just go ahead and get started. Now the materials we're going to need for this particular project is going to be basically 3 colors of your thread. Now I happen to be using a dark green, a lighter green, and then a black. And the thread that I'm using is made by a company called Water Lace product from China. It's 100% cotton, and the company, or rather the label, tells us that this is Shuisu lace, 40 grams. Sorry if I butchered the name. Also, they're telling us that the recommended size hook is a 2 millimeter. They tell us that this thread can be washed at a low temperature, probably, cool temperature, I guess is what I better off saying. Do not bleach. You can iron it on a low heat. You can dry clean this. They tell you to lay it flat to dry, but if you're going to dry it outside, make sure that you dry it in the shade. So my guess for this is that this color will fade if it gets too much sunlight. Now this thread is, I'm going to say it is somewhere between a weight of 1 and a weight of 2. It's thicker than a size 10, like Aunt Lydia crochet thread, but it's thinner than, let's say, the Aunt Lydia's crochet thread that's a size 3. So it's kind of somewhere in the middle of that. Also, what I'm going to need for this project is a number 0 or 1.75 millimeter hook. So this is going to be a little smaller hook than the recommended size for this thread. I am going to want to have a tapestry needle. I want 3 of these plastic bone rings. They're approximately 1 inch, or if you like, a 2.54 centimeter ring, and then a pair of scissors. I'm going to begin by crocheting each of these 3 rings. So basically what I want to do is I want to make 30 single crochets around each ring. So I'm going to begin with my first. 2, 3, 4, 5, 28, 29, and 30. And next I'm going to make a slip stitch into that first single crochet, and then I'm going to fasten this off, and I'm going to leave a bit of a tail. Now once I've completed all 3 rings, we are going to move on over and I will tell you how to begin the foundation chain. Next, I'm going to switch over to my dark green. I'm going to set myself up to make a chain, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to chain 269 chains. So now that I've chained 259 chains, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to single crochet in the second chain from my hook. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to single crochet in these back loops. So right here where you see this little kind of hump on the back end of your chain, this is what I'm going to single crochet into. Basically, I'm going to have a single crochet in each one of these chains, and I will meet you right back here after I've done that. So now that I've finished my single crochet across the length of my chain, I should have a piece that looks something like this. So then to complete row 1, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to turn my work. And then for row 2, I'm going to start by making a chain 1. And then what I want to do is I want to single crochet in the same stitch. And then I want to make a single crochet in the stitch after that. Next, I want to chain 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make 2 double, triple, treble. And I'm going to single crochet them right here into the same stitch right here in the top of this single crochet. Now, how I make a double, triple, treble crochet is basically I'm going to yarn over 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to insert my hook into the top right here of this single crochet. I'm going to yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 more loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and then yarn over and pull through 2 more loops. Now I have 2 loops on my hook, and I'm going to start my next double, triple, treble crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and again, right into that same stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then when I have 3 loops on my hook, that's when I'm going to yarn over and I'm going to pull it all together into a single stitch. Now next I'm going to chain 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to skip 12 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And then I'm going to single crochet in the next stitch. And then I'm going to single crochet in the stitch after that. And then I'm going to single or chain 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Next, I'm going to make 2 double, triple, trebles together just as before in the same stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then, of course, into that same stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When I have 2 loops on my hook, I'm going to begin my second double, triple, treble. And then again in that same stitch. And then when I have 3 loops on the hook, I'm going to go ahead and yarn over. I'm going to pull it all the way through. And that will be the next leafy motif completed. And again, I'm going to chain 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I'm going to skip 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And I'm going to single crochet in the next stitch. And then I'm going to single crochet in the stitch after that. And I'm going to begin the motif all over again. I will do this combination of stitches a total of 19 times. And I'm going to continue that all the way across. Just that step. I'm going to chain 8. And then I'm going to make the 2 double, triple, trebles together in the same stitch. And then I'm going to chain 10. I'm going to skip 12. And then I'm going to single crochet in the next single crochet. And then I'm going to single crochet again in the crochet after that, the single crochet after that. And then I'll begin all over again with my chain 8, so on and so forth. And as you can see here, I've provided an up-close look as to what your weave or your mesh, or rather also netting if you prefer, should look like as we go forward. So we're going to start right here for a moment, just so I can explain a few things. If you're following this tutorial, you're going to have 19 of these leafy motifs here with the first part of row 2. Now, just to make this piece a little easier to work with in terms of my camera work here, I have done a small swatch where I have 3 of the motifs, just so I can show you how to complete this leafy leaf weave. So now once I've finished my row and I've completed my 19 motifs, I should end up with my very last single crochet at the end of my work. And at this point, what I'm going to do is I am going to place my stitch marker right there just to hold that in place, because I'm going to bring in a new color. And the new color I bring in is going to be the second part of row 2. So I'm going to come back here, and my second color for row 2 is going to be this light green. And I'm going to tie my green right into this very first single crochet right here at the beginning of row 2. Then I'm going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Next, I'm going to place a treble crochet right here into this next single crochet where I already have started that first leafy motif of row 2. I'm going to place my treble right in there. And then I'm going to chain 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Then I'm going to skip the next 5 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And in this next one, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to place a single crochet. And then in the stitch after that, I'm going to place another single crochet. Then I'm going to chain 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Next, just as before, I'm going to make my double, triple, treble. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And right there into this last single crochet that we just made. And then of course I'm going to stop before the last completion of the last part of the stitch, because I'm going to crochet all these 3 stitches together to make up the leaf motif. And then one more time with my double, triple, treble. And the last time yarn over, pull them all together, and then I'm going to single chain 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Next, I'm going to skip the next 12 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So I'm going to begin in this stitch. Then go ahead, I'm going to make my single crochet once, and then a single crochet in that next stitch. And then again, I'm going to chain 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then my double, triple, treble crochet twice together. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we'll do it that one more time. And then we're going to pull that together. I'm going to chain 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then I'm going to skip 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And go in here and start my next leafy motif. Again, my single crochet once and then single crochet twice. And then I'm going to chain 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. My first double, triple, treble crochet. And my next double, triple, treble crochet. And I'm going to crochet those together. So now that you've completed 19 of these little leafy motifs, you come to the end of your row 2B. And then going to place a treble crochet into that second stitch to the last stitch. So basically that little single crochet right here before you hit the last stitch of the row, where you have your stitch marker. So now your piece should look something like this. Now this is where I'm going to put my second stitch marker so I can hold that in place. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my work and I'm going to come back here to my dark green place. And this is where we're going to begin row 3A. So for row 3A, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to chain 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then I'm going to come here to the corresponding color. Here, this dark green from the last row. And in that chain 10 space, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to single crochet once and I'm going to single crochet twice. So next from here, I'm going to start the leafy motif aspect of this again. So again, I'm going to chain 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'm going to make my double, triple, treble crochet. I'm going to do that 2 times, just as before. And then, of course, as before, I'm going to chain 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then again, in the next chain 10 space of the corresponding color, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to place 2 single crochets. And then start my next leafy motif. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then I'm going to go ahead and make my next double, triple, treble. And then the next one after that, so I can crochet those together to get my motif. And then I'm going to chain 10 again. And then at this point, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make my 2 single crochets right there in that chain 10 space. And then at this point, I am going to place my stitch marker. Now that we've finished the third row A, or the third row in the dark green, what you should have is you should have 18 leafy motifs of the dark green in row 3. And then we're going to go back to the beginning of row 3 to start the next color. So that's going to be basically row 3B. And so I'm going to come back here. I'm going to pick up in my next color, and I'm going to chain 8 chains. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to place 2 single crochets into the next 10 chain space of the corresponding color. One and 2. And then I'm going to start my next leafy motif. So I'm going to chain 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Then my double, triple, treble. First one. And then my second one. And then all together. And then I'm going to chain 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then I come to my next chain 10 space, where I'm going to again go ahead and place my 2 single crochets. So 1 and 2. And then I'm going to make my next leafy motif. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. My first double, triple, treble. And my next double, triple, treble. And then I'm going to chain 10 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then I'm going to bring it into my next chain 10. And I'm going to place my 2 single crochets. And then I'm going to go ahead and put my stitch marker right in that spot because I'm at the end of my piece. And I have row 3A and 3B completed. Now you're going to have in rows 3A and 3B, you're going to have a total of 18 of these leafy motifs. Now in this little sampler I'm showing you right here, I have 3 for rows 2A and 2B and 2 for rows 3A and 3B. So as you continue on, you're going to do, or rather repeat row 3A and 3B approximately 17 more times, just like that, going back and forth until you've completed your triangle. And I'll do it one more time so you can see what it is I'm doing. And then I'm going to shift over to the large triangular shape that I've actually have completed before moving on to the next step of this project. So let's go ahead and do this one more time. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn my work. And I'm back here. I'm going to get to my row 4A color, which is this dark green. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to chain 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Next, in this same chain 10 space, I am going to single crochet 2. I'm going to chain 8 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to do my next 2 double triple trebles into that same single crochet stitch. I'm going to crochet those together and I'm going to chain 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then the next chain 10 space, I'm going to single crochet 2 times. And this is where I'm going to place my stitch marker for this little demonstration swatch. And for you, because this is your row 4A, you're going to make this little motif 17 times. Come back here to the beginning. And I'm going to start row 4B. I'm going to chain 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then I'm going to single crochet 2 times into that chain 10 space. And then I'm going to begin with my leafy motif. So I'm going to chain 8. And then I'm going to make my 2 double triple trebles right here into this same single crochet stitch. I'm going to chain 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then I'm going to come here and I'm going to connect it right here with the 2 single crochets into this chain 10 space. And when you've completed your 19 rows of A and B for your netting, once I've finished rows 1 through 20, my piece looks like this, and yours should look something similar to this as well. For the next step, I'm going to address the raw edges, and then I will finish edging out the full hammock. So now that we have come to the completed part of the actual base of the hammock, I'm going to go ahead and start working on the trim. And to do that is I'm going to start at the right hand corner, right side facing me, and along this raw edge of the triangular shape of the hammock, I am going to single crochet evenly from point to point 160 single crochets. Now, once I get to the top of the point of my triangular shape right here, I'm going to bring these 2 pieces together, and I will move on and tell you the combination of stitches that will need to go there next. And then once that combination of stitches is completed, then we're going to go ahead and single crochet another 160 single crochets evenly down the alternate side of your hammock. So let's go ahead and start with the first 160 single crochets. And I'm simply just going to tie here in the corner, basically where I have this stitch marker. And I'm going to begin working up my trim. So now you can see that I'm already starting to make my way up, and I kind of pick and choose depending on how my mesh actually sits against this raw edge, whether I'm going to single crochet over the light green or single crochet over the dark green. It really is just all going to depend on how my weave actually sits. So your mileage may differ, but that's going to be up to you to decide how you're going to evenly disperse that 160 single crochets across this edging. Now, for me, I've decided that, each section, if you will, takes approximately 8 single crochets. So that might make it a little easier for you to kind of maintain your count as well. Just a quick little pro tip. Okay, so I'm going to continue single crocheting up this right side of my hammock, and when I get to the point or the top point of my hammock, I will show you what to do next. So now that I've made it to the point of my hammock, to the top point, I've done my 160 single crochets up the edge. I'm right here where the 2 points of each color meet. And basically what I'm going to do here is I am going to single crochet right here into this top stitch, and then also through the top stitch of the second color. So basically this is what I'm going to have. And I'm going to single crochet 3 times in that same stitch. So 1, 2, and then 3. just right there at that top point. The next, as mentioned before, I'm going to single crochet 160 single crochets evenly down this left edge of my hammock. And I'll meet you right back at the bottom left-hand corner of the hammock. And then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so now that we've made it to the next point, I'm just going to move this leafy motif aside because I'll get to that here in just a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to place 2 more single crochets right there into that same corner stitch that I finished my second raw edge with. There we got 1 and 2, so it'll be a total of 3 single crochets in that corner. And then I'm going to continue to single crochet a single crochet in each of the next stitches all the way to the next corner. When I hit that next corner, I'm going to add 2 single crochets to the single crochet that's already in that corner, and then I'm going to fasten off. Okay, so now that I've finished with my single crochet here along this front edge of the hammock, I'm going to come here and I'm going to, with a slip stitch, I'm going to tie into that very first single crochet that we started there on that right hand corner of the raw edge. And then I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to single crochet in that same stitch. Still I'm using dark green. If you're using a different color, then use the color that you choose to use. And then I'm going to continue to single crochet in each of the next stitches until I hit the other corner where the raw edge, this other side of the raw edge, so the left hand side of my triangle meets the base corner, or the corner of that front part of the hammock. And then so when we come down here, this is where we're going to fasten off. So basically, we're going to start here at this corner. I'm going to work all the way up to this tip. And then we're going to continue to work single crochet in each stitch all the way down the next raw corner until we get, or rather I should say the raw edge, until we get to the next corner where the corner of the raw edge meets the corner of the front edging of our hammock. And then that's where I'm going to tie off. And then I'm going to discuss what it is I do to begin to connect the rings and finish up the trimming of the hammock. So we're almost there. We're getting close, not quite, but we're getting close. So now that I've finished that last round of single crochets, the trim of my hammock is starting to take some shape, and it should look something like this. Pretty much all the way around. And now it's time for me to connect the rings. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ring, and you see how I'm using the long tail to sew it on, and I'm going to sew each one of my rings to the front facing corner of this hammock. So I got 3 corners, I've got 3 rings. And then I'm just going to simply go ahead and begin to just kind of sew that ring on right there into the corner. And I'm going to continue to do that till I'm satisfied. So you probably just need like maybe 3 or 4 of these actual stitches is probably a good width, and you'll decide which or how to sew it onto that corner. That's completely your call. I don't have any specific way or as to how you should do that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do that on all my corners, and I will be right back with you. So now that I've connected a ring to each one of my corners, I'm going to begin at the bottom left-hand corner, and I'm going to tie in my black. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to single crochet in that same stitch. And then I'm going to single crochet in each stitch after that, all the way around. And the caveat to that is when I hit my ring, when I hit my next ring, instead of coming behind the ring, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up to this part of my ring, and then I'm going to single crochet each stitch all the way around my ring until I hit the green, the first green stitch of the very next corner. And I'm going to then begin to single crochet along that edge. And so this is what I mean, and I'll show you here in just a second. So now, as you can see, I've just hit my first ring, and I have my single crochet along that front edge. And basically what I'm going to do is, now that I'm right up here against my ring, I'm going to go and I'm going to get this closest stitch to where I've come up to my ring at, and then I'm just going to single crochet each stitch around that. So you can see that I'm just working my way around, and this is how I happen to be working my in from my tail. I'm just working that in as I single crochet around the ring. Now you might have another way that you're going to weave your tail in, and that's fine. This is just how I do it. And I'm going to continue to do that. I'm going to do each ring just like this on this round. And when I've completed a complete round of this hammock, I will let you know what I'm going to do next. Now, once I've finished the third and final round in the black, I will fasten that off. I'll fasten that color off, and I will start to work with these French Irish crochet leafy motifs. Now I'm going to get started on my leafy motifs. These motifs are basically a French Irish crochet pattern that are well over 100 years old, but they still work and they look great. And I'm going to go ahead and do this. Now this pattern is going to just be a repeat of itself. So we're going to make a total of 11 of these leafy motifs. And the first 6 of them are going to be made with the light green thread. And when I begin, I'm going to begin by making a chain of 5. Now, I'm also going to want 3 in the dark green and 2 in the black. But for the green and the black, I'm going to start with a chain of 18. And that's going to really be the most glaring difference, is the length of the stem. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to show you how to do this with the light green. And with the exception of the length of the stem, everything else is going to be the same for the dark green leafy motif as well as the black leafy motif. So since this is the light green, I'm going to begin with my chain 5. I'm going to start at 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's going to be the length of my stem. I'm going to start my first leaf. And so my first leaf is going to start with a chain of 11. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Next, I'm going to slip stitch in the second chain from my hook once, and then I'm going to slip stitch 9 more times. So 2, 3, and 9. So that gives me a total of 10 slip stitches. Next, I'm going to chain 1 and I'm going to turn my work. And then I'm going to single crochet in that same stitch. Now in the next stitch, I'm going to make a half double crochet. And in the stitch after that, I'm going to make a double crochet. Next, I'm going to make a treble crochet 3 times. So 1, 2, and 3. Next, I'm going to make a double crochet 2 times. So 1, and then 2, and then in the next, I'm going to make a half double crochet. And then in my very last stitch, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to single crochet 5 right there at the tip. So I've got 2, 3, 4, and 5. So now the next step, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to half double crochet. And then I'm going to do a double crochet 2 times. So 1 and 2. I'm going to do a treble crochet 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. Now in the next stitch, I'm going to make a double crochet. And then the stitch after that, a half double crochet. And then the stitch after that, a single crochet. Next, I'm going to turn my leaf and I'm going to chain 1. And then in the next stitch, I'm going to single crochet. I'm going to single crochet each stitch all the way around this leaf. So now that I've come around with my single crochets all the way around my leaf, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to slip stitch right around the stem of this leaf. And then I'm going to start with my first chain. And then I'm going to chain again, 1, 2, 3, and that'll make 4. And I'll start my next leaf. So now my next leaf, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to chain 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then I'm going to slip stitch a total of 9. So 1, 7, 8, and 9. Next, I'm going to turn my work. I'm going to make a chain and then I'm going to single crochet in that same stitch. Then I'm going to half double crochet in the stitch after that. I'm going to double crochet in the stitch after that. Now next I'm going to treble, but I'm going to treble 2 times this time. So once, and then twice. And then I'm going to do a double crochet once, and then a double crochet twice, and then a half double crochet, and then 5 single crochets right here in this stitch right here at the tip of my leaf. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm going to again make my half double crochet, and then I'm going to make my double crochet 2 times, and then my treble crochet 2 times, and then a double crochet once, a half double crochet, and a single crochet. Next, I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch right in here, right into this center piece of the leaf. I'm going to turn my work. I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to begin to single crochet in each of the next stitches all the way around leaf number 2. And once I've single crocheted all the way around my second leaf, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make a slip stitch around the stem. And then I'm going to begin with my next chain. That'll be 1, and then 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to begin my third leaf. And for this one, I want to chain 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And then I'm going to slip stitch 8. So 1, 2, 7, and 8. I'm going to turn my work. I'm going to chain 1. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make a single crochet in the same stitch. And then next I'm going to make my half double crochet in the stitch after that, and then a double crochet in the stitch after that. Next I'm going to make a treble crochet, and then I'm going to make a double crochet, and then another double crochet, a half double crochet, and then I'm going to place my 5 single crochets right here into the tip of this leaf. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then I'm going to place a half double crochet in the next stitch. And then I'm going to place a double crochet, and then another double crochet in the next stitch. And the stitch after that, I'm going to place a treble crochet. And after that, I'm going to place a double crochet. And then next, I'm going to make a half double crochet. I'm going to make a single crochet, and I'm going to slip stitch right here at the center kind of base of this leaf, just like that. So next I'm going to chain one after I turn my leaf, and then in the next stitch I'm going to place a single crochet, and I'm going to single crochet each stitch around the leaf. And now that I've made my way all the way around, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to slip stitch around that stem. And I'm going to start with my first chain. I'm going to chain 4 total, so I need 3 more. 1, 2, and 3. Now for my 4th leaf, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to chain 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then I'm going to slip stitch 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I'm going to turn my work. I'm going to chain 1. I'm going to single crochet in that same stitch. And then in the next stitch, I'm going to half double crochet. Now, I'm going to double crochet 3 times. So 1, 2, and 3. The next stitch, I'm going to half double crochet. And then in that last stitch, I'm going to place my 5 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Next, I'm going to half double crochet in the next stitch. And then I'm going to make a double crochet 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. And then the next stitch is going to be a half double crochet. Stitch after that's going to be a single crochet. And then I'm going to slip stitch right here into this center base part of the leaf. Then I'm going to turn my work. I'm going to chain 1. And then in the next stitch, I'm going to start my single crochet in each stitch around the leaf. And again, I'm going to make my slip stitch around the stem. And I'm going to start with my next chain. So now for my 5th leaf, I'm going to repeat exactly what I did for my 4th leaf. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to chain my 4, because that's my stem. And then I'm going to chain 8 for my 5th leaf. And as I said before, I'm going to, again, just repeat exactly what I did for leaf 4. And that's going to be the slip stitch 7, turn my work, and then continue on as before. Okay, so now that I've finished my 5th leaf, I'm right here at this point where I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make my slip stitch around the stem and my first chain. And then on this part of the stem, I'm actually going to crochet 5 single crochets around these 4 chains. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And this is what it looks like so far. And then I'm going to start leaf 6. Now leaf 6 is going to be exactly the same as leaf 4 and 5. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to chain 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I'm going to slip stitch 7, which will bring me back down here. And I'm going to continue with this leaf just as I did with leaves 4 and 5. Okay, so now that I've finished leaf 6, I'm right back here. Now for the slip stitch, instead of wrapping it around the stem, I'm going to actually put my hook right here into the base center of the leaf directly across leaf 6. So this will be leaf 4. And then I'm just going to simply slip stitch right in there. And then I'm going to make another slip stitch right here, and that will set me up to single crochet around this chain 4 stem 5 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now I'm going to begin leaf 7. And leaf 7 is going to be basically a repeat of leaf 3. So that's going to be a chain of 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. I'm going to slip stitch 8. Now as before, I'm going to turn my work. I'm going to chain 1, single crochet in that same stitch, half double crochet in the stitch afterwards, double crochet in the stitch after that, and then in the stitch after that I'm going to make a treble crochet, and then I'm going to make a double crochet once and a double crochet twice, and then I'm going to do a half double crochet, and then I'm going to place my 5 single crochets in that top stitch of the leaf. So then I'm going to start working my way back again with a half double crochet, and then a double crochet, and another double crochet. Next I'm going to do a treble crochet, and then after that I'm going to make a double crochet, and then a half double crochet, then a regular single crochet, and then I'm going to place my slip stitch right there in that next stitch. I'm going to turn my work. I'm going to chain 1, and then in the next stitch I'm going to place a single crochet, and I'm going to place a single crochet in each additional stitch all the way around the leaf. And then just like before, in my last slip stitch for the leaf, I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch right here into the center part of the leaf right across from it. So this is going to be leaf 3. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to slip stitch right there. And then I'm going to, let's see if I can make this so you can see it easier. And I'm going to slip stitch right one more time. And that sets me up to make my 5 single crochets right down the length of this 4 chain next part of the stem. We're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So far it's going to look something like this. And we're going to move on to the 8th leaf, which is going to sit right across from the 2nd leaf that we made. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to repeat leaf 2 for leaf 8. So that means I'm going to chain 10, and then I'm going to come back with a slip stitch of 9. Follow the pattern just as before, except we're going to add a second treble crochet into the length. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And my 9 slip stitches. And I'm going to turn my work, and I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to single crochet into that same stitch. And I'm going to half double crochet into the next stitch. And I'm going to double crochet into the stitch after that. And then I'm going to treble crochet in the stitch after that. I'm going to make another treble crochet in the stitch after that. Next, I'm going to double crochet in the stitch after that, and then another double crochet in the stitch after that. And then I'm going to half double crochet in the stitch after that. And then right here at the tip, I'm going to place my 5 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then of course I'm going to do my half double crochet, and then my double crochet 2 times, and then my treble crochet 2 times, then I'm going to do a double crochet again, half double crochet next, a single crochet, and then a slip stitch right down here. And I'm going to turn my work. I'm going to chain 1, and then in the next stitch I'm going to single crochet, and then in each stitch after that I'm going to place a single crochet all the way around the leaf. Okay, now once I've completed leaf 8, again, I'm going to come right here into leaf 2, directly across from it, right here kind of into the center base of that leaf. And I'm going to place my slip stitch. And I'm going to do one more slip stitch right there around the stem, and that's going to set me up for my last series of 5 single crochets down this chain 4 stem. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now for this last and 9th leaf, we're going to actually repeat leaf 1. So basically it's going to be a chain 11. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Slip stitch 10. 1, 9, and 10. And just like all the other leaves before, I'm going to turn my work. Now I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to single crochet in the same stitch. And then in the next stitch, I'm going to place a half double crochet. And then in the stitch after that, I'm going to make a double crochet. And then in the next stitch is going to be a treble. And then another treble in the stitch after that. And then in the stitch after that is going to be another treble. And then I'm going to make a double crochet in the stitch after that. And then a double again in the next stitch. And then in the stitch after that, I'm going to place a half double crochet. And then in the last stitch, we're going to place our 5 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then again, a half double crochet in the next stitch. And then a double crochet 2 times. And then a treble crochet 3 times. And then a double crochet, a half double crochet, a single crochet. I'm going to go ahead and do a little slip stitch right down there. And turn my work. And I'm going to chain 1. And then I'm going to single crochet in the next stitch and single crochet in each additional stitch until I've completed this leaf. And so again, now I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to place my slip stitch into the leaf right across. Now this does get a little fiddly, so you're going to have to just take your time, but once you've done a couple of them, you kind of get the hang of it and they start moving really quickly. I make my next slip stitch. And now that sets me up to finish the stem. Now this stem has 5 single crochets, so basically I'm going to single crochet 7 or 8 single crochets down the length of this stem. So we've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, 7. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take my hook. I'm going to insert it right there into that very first chain. And then I'm going to yarn over and pull that yarn all the way through. So basically I've made a knot, a stop. And then I'm going to cut myself a decent length of tail because I'm going to use this for sewing. So now once I've cut my length of tail, I'm going to pull that through. And then I now have my leafy motif. And of course, this is something you are going to want to block. So now that your leafy motifs are blocked and drying, this here is just an earlier image of the triangular mesh part of the hammock. However, you can see if you take a close look at the stitch markers. Now, if you haven't already marked out where you would like to place your leafy motifs, as I've done here, now is the time you probably want to do that. Now, if you want to see exactly which colors I placed in which location, just take a look at the earlier images there at the very beginning of this video. So now, as you can see, I've completed all my motifs and I'm currently sewing them onto the front edge of my hammock. And as you saw before, there were several stitch markers. Those stitch markers were there to show me where I wanted to place my pieces. And you will decide how you want to place your pieces as well. But those stitch markers in the previous image show you where I place mine, and so you can do that yourself or switch it up, whatever works best for you. Now, the tail, as I mentioned before, is what I'm going to use to sew my motif on. And the way I do that is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start by just running my needle right there through the base of that particular part of the netting. And basically it just ties my colors together. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my thread and I'm going to weave it through and tack things down to my satisfaction. And this is what it looks like when I'm finished sewing my motif on. I've now come to the end of this tutorial and it's time for me to say goodbye. But as usual, I had a lot of fun. I was thrilled to have you with me, particularly if you've stuck around the video this long. You are pretty amazing. So until we meet again, stay creative, stay wonderful, and always, always weave your own Wyrd. Bye-bye now. Have a wonderful week.